Hello friends and welcome back to Broken BJJ. My name's Kenny and today I want to talk a bit more about that process of getting better in Jiu Jitsu, especially starting from your first day as a white belt all the way through to getting your blue belt and beyond. Because I think this is something that it's not like many other hobbies. It's it's such a long process before you start to get any good at jiu-jitsu to where you can really impose your game on someone else against their will. That takes such a long time and it's such a grueling process, and you take so many beatings yourself to get there, that I think it does bear some consideration how we stay motivated and how we stay positive while we're on that. So the first thing I would say is that this happens to everybody. It's not just you that's having this problem. Literally everybody, with maybe the exception of the occasional real prodigy in the sport. Everybody goes through this same process of feeling like they just can't get anything done. One of my favorite training partners at my gym is one of the brown belts. He's been a brown belt, I think, for as long as I've been there. So he must be getting pretty close to black belt level by now, I think. And one day I was rolling with him, and normally he was very kind of helpful with me. He would let me play quite a lot, would kind of show me a few things, and was really, really helpful with me. And then one day he just smashed me. He came over, we started rolling, and within about a minute he had tapped me 3 or 4 times. And I said, "Hey man, like, did I do something to offend you? Or are you mad at me?" And he's like, "No, it's fine. I just rolled with our coach," and he pointed over at him and he said, "I just had this done to me for 6 minutes and I need to take it out on somebody." So everybody has that feeling at some point. Even this guy who's been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time is very, very good. One of the best players in the gym. And he still felt like that. So, like I say, don't imagine that you're the only person who feels. I think the most important thing to remember when you're having one of those bad days is to try and focus a little bit on the good days and try and find little things that you can take victories from. Because the fact is, for a long time when you start training jiu-jitsu, you're probably not going to tap anyone out. You're probably not going to pass many people's guards. You're probably not going to sweep many people. So you have to find other things that you can celebrate, other little markers of your progress that can help you to recognize when you are doing well. So that can be anything. It could be, did you hold somebody in your guard for a decent... it might be that yesterday somebody was able to open your guard and start passing you within 15 seconds. So if you held on for 30 seconds today, you've got twice as good at holding somebody in your guard. That is a victory. If maybe you're trying desperately to make sweeps work. Well, maybe you don't catch the sweep every time, but maybe you knocked somebody off balance well. Maybe you got your hands and feet into the right places, you got your grips right, but you just didn't quite get the sweep. Well, that's a victory too. You're one step closer to actually getting the sweep right. And if you're trying to get a submission, well, if you get the grips in place, if you manage to get your arms around somebody's neck, or you manage to isolate somebody's arm, then those are successes. And every one of those things is worth you just having a little smile to yourself. You don't have to make a big deal about it. You absolutely shouldn't celebrate anything in the gym. You shouldn't celebrate getting a submission of any kind. That's just not polite. But just quietly to yourself say, look, hey, I made a bit of progress. This is something that a lot of people use a journal for. to maybe set little goals for themselves, so that they can then look back and say, hey, I did what I set out to do. I wanted to last for a minute before somebody got past my guard. Well, I managed for about a minute, so I achieved what I wanted to achieve. Setting those little targets, those little goals, and just saying, maybe I can do a little bit more here and a little bit more there. It's going to take a long time until that becomes real fluid, high level jiu-jitsu. But it takes a long time for everybody. And all the black belts, brown belts, purple belts, blue belts that you see in your gym, they all went through this process as well. And one of the ways that they stay focused, one of the ways that they stay on track for that, is to focus on these small victories, these small improvements. Because with me, certainly, having this long gap that most of us have had from training during the pandemic, I think coming back to jiu-jitsu and realizing just how much I know compared to what I did back when I first started, I think has been eye-opening for me. I didn't necessarily notice the small improvements that I was making along the way, but I think now I'm able to see that I have made a big improvement over the long haul. It's just sometimes, I suppose, global viral outbreaks don't always give us a chance to look back on our lives in quite that way. So those are some of the one other thing that I would add is that you should learn to take a compliment. A lot of us find compliments difficult to take. We feel shy or embarrassed or whatever. And it can be difficult sometimes to be told that you're doing well. Because often we'll hear that from people who don't necessarily act as though they think we're doing well. I think we've all had that experience in work. Where our boss tells us we're doing a great job, but there's not maybe a pay rise behind that great work that we're doing. But in jiu-jitsu, believe me, people aren't going to give you compliments unless they mean them. If your coach tells you that you're doing something right, then that means you're doing it right. They're not going to tell you you're doing well when you're doing something wrong. The same goes for the higher belts around you. When a purple belt or a brown belt tells you, hey, that move you're working on there, you're doing well with that. Or, hey, you caught me really well with this submission. If you had made this adjustment, you might have got me. When they say these kind of things, listen to them, because these guys have been around for a lot longer than you. They know what good jiu-jitsu looks like. And so when they compliment you on something, they mean it. And that's something that you can also kind of put in that little victory bank to let you know that you are making some progress and that you are starting to earn the respect of the people that you are training with. And that, I think, is what we're all hoping for. So that is just about all for this week. If you enjoyed this, then please do like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and please also get down in the comments and let us know what little victories you've had and what other ways you have to help keep yourself motivated when things are going rough on the mat. But that is all we've got for you this week. So thanks again for watching, enjoy training, and I'll see you next week.